Hello, Brilliant Labs viewers! Most recently, I've been observing nature by going out on my back deck and looking at the stars above. Now, luckily, I'm positioned such that my viewing angle is west-southwest, and what this allows me to do is view the constellation Orion, the hunter, rising above the horizon just enough so that I can barely see the three stars of Orion's belt. Now, I find this simplistic star formation inspiring for the mobile that we are going to build today for our Maker Fun activity. As I consider my design, I want to try to be empathetic to all components of this mobile. What if my perspective from Earth is only one of infinite different perspectives and infinite different numbers of mobiles and designs of mobiles? The issue is we are limited right now by space travel. How are we supposed to position ourselves such that we can see a new formation of Orion's belt and create a new mobile? Well, what if we could travel to a point in space and time where two of those stars that are closer to Earth, Delta and Zeta Orion, are in formation directly behind one another? You see, Epsilon is 1,975 light years away from the surface of the Earth, and Zeta and Delta are on average 700 light years away from the surface of the Earth. So how far would I actually have to travel through space and time such that I can see this new perspective of Orion's belt where these two stars are directly behind each other? So for this thought experiment, I thought I would design a little model, not to scale, of our own solar system. Here's the Sun and Mercury and Venus and Earth and Mars, and you're gonna see that I ran out of room to draw all of the planets, and that includes our forgotten about dwarf planet Pluto. Even though this illustration of our solar system is not to scale, it's going to help us figure out just how far away different reference points are from this star system of Orion that we were talking about. For instance, did you know that the distance between the Sun and our forgotten friendly planet of Pluto, the dwarf planet, is 4.8 billion kilometers? Now, we've been talking about something called the light year, or a light year, and the distance between Earth and the two stars in Orion's belt that we're interested in, Zeta and Delta, is 700 light years. What that means is you would have to travel at the speed of light for 700 years just to be in the vicinity of this star system to understand this new perspective. Perspective is particularly difficult when we're talking about distances that if one square of this paper was 4.8 billion light years, I would actually need 78 of these sheets of paper lined up side by side to even begin to draw a scaled model of our solar system, let alone a light year or 700 light years away. So that leads me to think, let's say that space travel to Orion's belt is possible so that I can see this star cluster and form a new mobile. So let's say that we have this incredible intergalactic garage, of which is occupied by 4 space vessels, 2 of which are fictitious and 2 of which are very real. The Falcon Heavy from SpaceX and NASA's space shuttle that did many missions back in the 80s. You can see here that those 2 very real ships only travel at a speed of 40,000 kilometers per hour. I say only, but that is still very fast, but nothing compared to the fictitious vessels that we see below them, the Enterprise D at a warp factor of 9.9, and if you believe what Han Solo says to be true, the Millennium Falcon at 25 light years per day. That is fast. The great thing about being a maker is that we can engage in these thought experiments even though they are very hypothetical. Well, the idea about space travel to a star system 700 light years away is hypothetical. These experiments, though, of thought, they bring about these questions that are very important, such as how significant are our actions here on the planet Earth? And what if a change of perspective 700 light years away, or even 1 light year away, or even a kilometer away from our community? What if a change of perspective is really what we need to consider our actions in our community? Well, bonne nuit, stay brilliant, et soyez créatifs.